Do you support eliminating the filibuster in order to pass federal legislation for abortion rights?
Right now, given the current composition of the Senate, the votes aren't there.
But would you use the bully pulpit to say, yes, I support it?
Well, here's the thing. I understand why you're asking the question, but the reality of it is we don't even get to really answer that.
As the vice president, as the president of the Senate, do you have a position on, I know you don't have a vote on it, but do you have a position on whether the filibuster should be eliminated?
I think the president has spoken on that issue. And
well, he said and more, he kind of left the door open. Is this where he was leaving the door open too?
I think that he has been clear about where we stand on this issue of reproductive health and what the president and our administration have within our toolkit to do. And so far, that's what we've been pursuing.
Oh, I watch that and I see the shortest leash, the vice president being held on the short little you say anything, you're gonna be pulled back. You can get like you can tell she may want to say more. Yes, I believe in amending the filibuster. Yes, I believe in changing the rules. These arcane, ridiculous parliamentarian rules that are holding back progress on this and so many other issues. But even if she weren't, I feel like she's not making a convincing case that the executive branch is doing all that it can. I don't know, Dan, what were your thoughts on that sort of evasive answer?
I'm really happy that Dana and as long as people like Charlemagne the God even are pressing Kamala Harris on questions that she's dodging, then I'm glad that at least Dana Bash is doing this as well. But I'm glad that she pushed her into a corner and saying, okay, as the president of the Senate, as the vice president, what is your opinion on doing all these things?
Right.
And I thought the Democrats understood this game. One of the only smart things I really think Pete Buttigieg just said is that Democrats will be attacked whether they do the thing that fights for people or whether they don't do the thing that fights for people. So I think that Kamala Harris is still playing this game where, okay, as long as I don't say that I'm going to buck Senate rules or even acknowledge the fact that what's going on with Jeannie Thomas and Clarence Thomas, there's a legitimacy crisis with the Supreme Court right now. To not acknowledge that from one of the highest statues of the executive branch, one of the three branches of government that theoretically is supposed to check the other two. Yep. I don't know, it screams of what people fear, but unfortunately understand, was that Democrats are not equipped or even willing to be equipped to do any major thing to protect abortion rights in this country, with the exception of a select few Democrats who are speaking out.
Right, and she's not even willing to call out the powerful. Anyone else, which it's so clear what this extremist Supreme Court has been anointed to do, like how they've been fast-tracked into their positions to do, and here we see it. And she starts off this interview even laughing about that, which I gotta say, the vice president's sort of nervous laughter is one of the most, not just unappealing, but something that instills such little confidence in her or the president, or that anyone is taking this seriously at all. And so there's that. And the one thing she did say, we could throw this up, she say they're looking into possible vouchers, travel vouchers specifically for women to receive abortions. Now, I just wanna know, we noted this yesterday on the show, that defending the right to travel is the barest of the bare minimum you could be doing at the moment. But hey, I think when it comes to this administration, it feels like they're much more comfortable with words and wishes that your heart make when you're fast asleep, which is also a line from Disney, but I feel like these guys kind of echo it. So there is that. I also just wanna say, in terms of the Senate is important. I don't think any progressive is downplaying how critical it would be to make gains in the Senate. But the GOP only needs to flip one seat in order to have the majority, one. And not only do Democrats have to hold on to all of their seats, we have two essential Republicans as senators, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. So again, you could see how very fragile things are. So again, I'm not saying that it's not important to hold on to Senate seats. I'm not saying it's not important to bring out the vote to defend Raphael Warnock's seat. But you look at Warnock, for example, who runs on, $2,000 checks, they're only $1,600, who runs on all of these promises around voting rights, around racial justice. Has he been able to get anything of that done because of the Democratic leadership? No.
And at the end of the day, like, you're one person. We're always talking about these one or singular political actors, but politics 101, get elected, do things you said you're going to do so that you can continue to keep power as long as the term limits allow for. The Supreme Court does not have term limits. The people in the Senate have some of the longest term limits of anyone in elected office at like 6 years or so. So it's not just on Raphael Warnock to stand up to the Democratic Party for whatever reasons, because he needs to stand with the Democratic Party before the Democratic Party loses itself, before it loses its power. It's something to do to save the party long term. If you see something that your own organization is sabotaging itself, it's your duty to stand up, not for that organization really, because screw the Democratic Party establishment and getting us here in the first place, but to save the constituents, the voters, the people who are going to be actually affected by these things, and not this. I actually had to mute myself when I screamed hearing Kamala Harris use the phrase vouchers after remembering the primary when she was talking about, oh, if you are middle class and you're working and you went to college, then you can get this special program for qualifying to have your student debt, or like any of these other things. Like, I'm so sick of this like means tested crap as opposed to actually not making America a laughingstock in the rest of the world as far as our backwards laws go. I'll leave it there.
If you make between $18,000 and $21,000 a year, but have no dependents and also drive a Nissan, you could get a voucher to travel for an abortion, but only to certain states.
On Tuesdays.
On Tuesdays, of course, today.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.